They don't want to change the rates. That deal between the state and the tribes is set to expire this January.
In Project Safe Schools, a teenager is facing charges tonight. Alexis Wilson is accused of threatening to shoot hundreds of students at McAllister High School. The Pittsburgh County Sheriff says deputies found a semi-automatic AK-47 and multiple rounds of ammunition.
I don't really have to worry about it, or at least I didn't think I did. But now that more and more people are starting to do it, I'm kind of getting into the mindset of, well, what's going to happen the next day? What's going to happen the day after today?
Wilson is being held on a $250,000 bond. She is due back in court on September 27th. Two Works for You is committed to keeping you informed about the safety of Green Country children inside our schools. That's everything from campus security to bullying, even mental health. If you have a school story that you want us to look into, just give us a call at the number on the screen right there. You can also send us an email to projectsafeschools@kjrh.com. Well, it has been 3 years since the shooting of Terrence Crutcher.
Terrence's sister is fighting to make sure that a shooting like this doesn't happen again. In 2016, then Tulsa police officer Betty Shelby shot and killed Crutcher in the middle of the street in North Tulsa. He was unarmed.
Crutcher had PCP in his system and in his vehicle. Shelby was later found not guilty of manslaughter. Dr. Tiffany Crutcher sat down with us to talk about her life mission, police reform.
We would often talk about these injustices, but I never thought that my family would be on the other side going through the same thing. And so I just couldn't believe it.
Dr. Crutcher says one recent step forward is the public meetings the city of Tulsa now hosts, which focus on racial and gender gaps in police arrests and use of force. After the Crutcher shooting, the Tulsa Police Department has made some policy changes. Two Works for You's Aaron Conrad shows us what the department is now doing differently.
While the Tulsa Police Department can't talk to us about any specifics in the aftermath of the Crutcher case because they are currently in civil litigation with the family, they were able to talk to us about their community policing efforts, which have ramped up significantly in the last year.
That's where community policing falls under. And we've always done a lot in community policing, but over the last couple of years, we've really ramped it up.
Major Travis Yates with the Special Operations Division has been with the Tulsa Police Department for 26 years. He's been working on the community policing effort since 2018 and says he's seen a positive impact.
The community has to trust us, and community policing is a great avenue for that. The more we can work with adults and children in a positive environment, the more we can gain that trust, build that rapport, and then they in turn will help us in coming up with strategies to solve crime in their neighborhoods.
The department also has a full-time PAL, or Police Activities League officer, as well as a community service officer at every division. In the year since the Police Activity League was formed, the department has spent nearly 1,300 hours doing community events and reached more than 8,000 kids.
But we think in generations to come, what we're doing today is going to make a tremendous impact.
As for policy changes in the last 3 years, police tell us their policies are constantly being updated and changed to meet CALEA standards. CALEA is the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies and sets the national standard for policing. The city of Tulsa is also working to establish a police oversight committee. However, the most recent attempt, an Office of the Independent Monitor, has been suspended. Mayor G.T. Bynum releasing a statement saying the committee could violate the agreement with the police union and that the city needs to include the Fraternal Order of Police moving forward. As for specific policy changes that TPD has made in the last 3 years, they are still working to get us those numbers. In Tulsa, Aaron Conrad, Two Works for You.
Thank you, Aaron. Now, since the shooting 3 years ago, Betty Shelby is trying to move forward. She's now working as a Rogers County Sheriff's deputy.
And former Boca Raton, Florida Police Chief Andrew Schott offers some insight into what goes through an officer's mind right before using deadly force. Now, a law enforcement consultant, he works with officers like Shelby. He says he knows what it's like to be in her position because he also had to use deadly force on a subject.
I can tell you that first and foremost, she didn't wake up that morning and said, I think I'm going to wind up killing somebody.
Scott says the suicide rate for police officers is one of the highest in the nation. This year, 149 officers have committed suicide, and many suffer from PTSD because of the things they see on a regular basis.
Now, your Two Works for You first forecast, brought to you by Route 66 Chevrolet and Nissan of Tulsa.
Well, it was a hot day today, well above normal for this time of year. Good news, there is some relief on the way. But first, the next couple of days are still going to be quite hot. As we look at what we're tracking for you in about 5 minutes, we'll have an updated 10-day forecast for you, which provides the chance for some relief in our area, along with rain chances increasing across the region. And with clouds and the rain moving into the region, that's going to cool temperatures down. Now, you probably have weekend plans outdoors. We'll tell you how much rain we can expect and for how long during the weekend. We'll tell you about that with your 10-day again in about 5 minutes.
New at 10, an alternative for opioids right under your skin. See how a device with a remote is helping some people manage their pain.
Plus, a story you'll see only on 2, a local teenager helping an animal hospital fill the void of an animal shelter. Why he decided to take up the cause. I'm Mike Brooks.
I'm Karen Larson. You're watching 2 Works for You at 10.
Developing tonight, an attack on the world's biggest oil production facility in Saudi Arabia is causing global tensions. Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen have claimed responsibility. Now, this attack cut Saudi Arabia's oil exports in half, and that is more than 5% of the world's oil supply. President Trump says he will release oil reserves if needed to keep the supply flowing at home. Experts say this will likely cause those gas prices to creep up this fall.
A very small implant and a remote control could be the new alternative to opioids. Some doctors are using a new product called the StimWave SCS system. One part of the device, a stimulator, is implanted under the patient's skin to address pain in a specific area. It comes with a remote control, which a patient can use to turn the implant on and off.
We're able to identify a patient's pain generators at a very precise level. Most patients are able to have a device implanted under the skin in a very specific area about this size.
Doctors say the level of pain relief is different for everyone. The hope is that devices like this will lead to fewer opioids being prescribed. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says 130 people a day in the United States die from opioid overdose. Gig economy delivery jobs are the hottest thing right now, making runs for Lyft, Uber, Amazon, or DoorDash.
But a growing number of DoorDash drivers have been complaining that they are not earning much money at all. Now, one driver says the company is keeping his tips, which keeps his pay down.
They say, hey, did you get that $10 tip or did you get that $15 tip that I put on the app? And no, they only paid you $5.37 for that trip.
Matthew says some days he earns less than the $7.25 an hour federal minimum wage. Many drivers say the company has been using their tips to subsidize other drivers so that everyone would earn $10 an hour. After a class action suit from some drivers, DoorDash is responding. The CEO just announced in his blog that by late September, every dollar that customers tip will be an extra dollar in the Dasher's pocket.
The city of Bixby doesn't have an animal shelter, so an animal hospital there works overtime to take in what animal control drops off. 2 Works for You's Lorraine Callender shares how a Bixby sophomore is using his Eagle Scout project to help. It's a story you'll see only on 2.
Hi, my name is Preston Freeman. I'm working on my Eagle Scout project for Troop 975.
Becoming an Eagle Scout means a lot to Preston Freeman.
It starts as Cub Scout, so I've been in there since a bear, which was 3rd grade.
The Bixby sophomore chose an organization close to his heart for his Eagle Scout project.
I've always had a soft spot for animals.
Just over a month walking these streets, collecting items outside of Petco and Reese's, and Preston met his goal and then some.
I did not expect to get this much stuff. My goal was 200 items, and we ended up getting about 500 items or 600 items, and we ended up raising about $300.
It's all going to Horizon Animal Hospital in Bixby, which is pretty much the only game in town for a shelter.
We're a very small shelter, so it's easy to get overlooked and overpowered really quickly.
They have 15 kennels, but receive 5 to 10 animals a week. So these donations will definitely lift their spirit.
It's awesome that any young person would want to help.
Preston plans to drop off the donations on Wednesday. In Bixby, Lorraine Callender, 2 Works for You.
There you go. Doing some good right there.
Love it. Love that
Eagle
project.
Scout badge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do either. That takes a lot of dedication. Also dedicated to the weather.
Right, especially in the heat going door to door. It's a little toasty out there. Some relief on the way as we take a look at our radar. We continue to track a tropical disturbance down the Gulf of Mexico. I've drawn on this line because this is going to continue to take a track to the north, moving into our area by the end of Friday night into Saturday. So we watch this rain area of activity of moisture to the south of us, watch it move north for Friday, Saturday, and eventually by Sunday night, it gets kicked, pushed, or I should say it's pushed further southeast. Meanwhile, the rain chances do go up significantly for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then begin to diminish Monday. And with clouds and the chance for precip around, that's going to help keep temperatures a little cooler. Now look at this. Next 3 days in the lower 90s. Normal high for this time of year around 84. By the weekend, it falls down to around 80 degrees for a normal high. And look at this, we stay above that all the way through the next 7 days. So even though we're going to see a cool down, it's still really warm for this time of year. Matter of fact, looking all the way out to October 1st, it looks warm. I'm afraid we're not done with the 90 degrees just yet for the month of September. This weekend, though, again, it will feel much better across the area with the rain and the clouds in the area, especially since we've become so accustomed to the heat recently. Temperatures will feel a lot better for Saturday and Sunday with scattered showers and storms both days across the area, but that should help keep temperatures down in the 80s. Looking outside this evening, what a gorgeous sunset. Appreciate these pictures always being tweeted in and Facebook from our viewers at Mike Collier WX. Beautiful high thin cirrus cloud streaming across the area with a beautiful sunset this evening. Keep those pictures coming into the station. 80 degrees right now in Tulsa. Dew point is high, so it still feels humid. If you walked outside at this hour, you just feel the steam across the area. A little bit of a southeasterly breeze. 93 the high today, well above normal for this time of year after starting off with a warmer than normal low as well, 73. Tomorrow morning is going to be warm. Tulsa at 71. Bartlesville 67, Pryor committed 70, and McAllister at 70 degrees. As we head towards the afternoon hours, 94 in Tulsa, 92 in Okmulgee, a little bit of a southeasterly breeze, about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Otherwise, just hot and sticky across the area for our Tuesday. Looking at the extended forecast, again, next 3 days, really hot. Real quick, you see the moon? Isn't that beautiful? All right, I had to point that out. 91 on Wednesday, 90 on Thursday, rain likely for the weekend. On into late Sunday night, clearing out by Monday, maybe another shower or two by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week with slightly cooler weather. Next 3 days look as miserable as my fantasy football team.
Oh,
okay,
no.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, me too.
0-2.
My quarterback, also 0-2. Hey, the OSU Cowboys came here to Tulsa over the weekend, got themselves a win. Now they're going down to Austin. It gets real. Big 12 play begins. Sports is next.